Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and we have talked about that new 12-pin power connector that has been melting. And here ASUS is detailing a different option for a power connector for 600 watt GPUs. And this is interesting in the fact that here's another alternative to what's already there. However, there are some limitations I feel that will still have to be addressed. So let's go over and video cards. Go check them out. They had this as well, and they always have some really good articles on this stuff, keeping on top of tech, especially GPUs. Doing an excellent job over there. So definitely go check them out. I'll post a link in the description below. But there is this image out there of a PCI, and then you have your power connector here by ASUS. Now, a lot of people would have to jump on board for this to really take off, and so you have this power connector, and then if you look down here, you'll see to the motherboard this HPCE connector would be here, so that then it would plug in and the power delivery would be there. So granted, it'd be cable free, it'd be very streamlined for those that want a very clean build. Now your graphics card would be mounted, just horizontally like that. You wouldn't have the option for the vertical mount unless you introduce a cable. So maybe that cable is better tested, whatever, whatever it is. You're not relying on the connectors, probably tighter tolerances on this one than what were on the original connector, but that's what I kind of wanted to point out today is, this is kind of really interesting, right? This high power card edge is what they kind of call in the connector. And it's another option out there that could potentially be on the market. Now, is this a thing that other motherboard manufacturers will jump on? And is this an option for maybe other graphics card makers to also want to jump on? Now, it'd probably take like an AMD or a NVIDIA, or if Intel gets enough market share in their GPUs, Intel to say, this is the way I want all our cards to be, here it is, and then everyone would have to jump on board. Now, if that's the case, all the motherboard makers have to jump on board, etc. Maybe it's a thing. I also like to see all the power connectors on the rear side of the motherboard. I think that's a really great option. Makes a cleaner computer. Along with this, you'd have almost no wires in front to have that nice clean look, especially if you have a glass case or a clear side panel that you want to look in and see your build and have that nice clean look. I think that this is a great option for that. It's just, will it take off, or is this going to be a niche thing and you're going to be stuck with products that don't take advantage of it? And it would really suck if you bought a graphics card and then later on, or you didn't have the motherboard support for it, you had to buy a new motherboard, and then all of a sudden that's end of life and you bought a special motherboard just for that product. And so we'll have to wait and see how this takes off. We'll have to see if this is something that everyone wants to take advantage of. But I think that there's some really interesting type of technology you can apply here when you start thinking outside the box, and just instead of going right off the power supply, being, okay, here we go, and we're going to have the power delivery to the motherboard, and the motherboard is going to split it off. Now, that does cause a thing where motherboards are going to have to be more complex, right? Because now the power delivery is inside the motherboard, inside the PCB, rather than just cables from the power supply to the graphics card PCB. Now, granted, right, the graphics card PCB is probably still going to have all its power delivery stuff, just in a different, maybe different location, depending upon how that all goes through. But you have to kind of keep that in mind as this goes off, that cost of motherboards probably going to increase too. So I don't think power supplies are going to go anywhere. And graphics cards, are they going to get cheaper? Probably not. They're going to have just the connector in a different spot. So in doing so, now the motherboard price has increased a little bit. Maybe they can streamline this enough and get it in there and get it ironed out where it's it's just a initial investment cost that they're just going to have in every single motherboard, and it's going to be distributed, leaving it across, so it's not that much. But it's something to keep in mind there as well. But this is just a short video today of this power connector. Let me know what your thoughts are, if this is something that you want, if this is something you like to see in your build. Do you think it'll affect, vertical mounts at all, GPUs, or do you think people still want to do that? What are your thoughts on all this? And until next time, I do appreciate all the help that you do in helping support Gray Overload and helping this channel grow. It's amazing. And until next time, don't forget to do all the normal stuff, like, subscribe, and share the video. It really does help out. And God bless.